Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles. I want to welcome you guys to the conversation. First, I just want to thank you guys for all the support that you've been giving the channel. We've really been growing, getting a lot of positive comments from you guys. I'm glad that you guys are enjoying the video, and hopefully you enjoy this one too. So today we're going to be talking about Tony Parker, who the Spurs just announced that they're going to retire his jersey this upcoming season. I think on December or November 11th when they play the Memphis Grizzlies. So today we're just going to be talking about, the career that he had. For sure, he's definitely going to go into the Hall of Fame. So I just want to we're going to talk about what he accomplished in his career and all the great things that he did leading up to his jersey retirement. Now, the Spurs, I think they're going to become one of 7 teams that has retired at least 7 player jerseys for their organization. So that's a really cool thing. Now, they just recently retired Manu Ginobili's jersey. He was obviously a multiple time NBA champion. Playing with Tim Duncan as well, who just also got his jersey retirement not too long ago. And it's only perfect that Tony Parker, who was the third wheel to that trio, to finally get his jersey retired. Now, I don't know if you know this, but Tony Parker is a 4-time NBA champion. He won all those championships with the same team, which is the Spurs. He was also a Finals MVP. He's made multiple All-Star teams, at least 6 different All-Star teams. So he's done really well in his career. And, he's played for one team and he's from France. So I don't know if you guys knew this. And the Spurs actually selected him in the first round as, I think, like the 28th overall pick. So the Spurs have had this history of being able to really draft well, especially a lot of good international players. And Tony Parker is another example of that. They were also able to get Manu Ginobili, who is also an international player. So the Spurs, Greg Popovich, and that management scouting team, they've had a really good let's say, pedigree of going out there and getting players from all over the world. And I think that's also helped the NBA become a much more globalized sport. People like Tony Parker have opened up the doors for many other players. Now you have the NBA is full of different players like Serge Ibaka and others from all over the world that are playing in the NBA. So that's a really cool thing. Now, Tony Parker, as I said, he's won 4 NBA titles. Now, there are going to be some players, obviously, he's getting his jersey retired, but you already know he's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Allen Iverson is a Hall of Famer, and I'm in no way saying that Allen Iverson, that Tony Parker was as good as Allen Iverson on an individual level, because Allen Iverson never played with Manu Ginobili. He never played with Tim Duncan, who was the greatest power forward of all time, a 5-time champion. So Tony Parker had a lot of things working in his favor, playing with the right organization under Greg Popovich, who's widely considered to be, one of the top 3 basketball coaches in the history of the NBA, certainly, the creme de la creme of the NBA right now. And I think that under his tutelage, Tony Parker was able to grow. Now, he didn't have a seamless career while he was with the San Antonio Spurs. He got into some different situations with teammates and stuff like that. Obviously, the comments that he made about Kawhi Leonard about 2 years ago, saying that he suffered a more severe injury, and he didn't see why Kawhi Leonard couldn't return to come and play with the Spurs when they were trying to make their final playoff push that year, because a lot of people believed that the Spurs had a real shot at winning a championship. So after that didn't really work out, and then Tony Parker ended up playing with the Charlotte, Bobcats. So that's where he ended up, it's the Charlotte Hornets, where he ended up finishing his career. But most people, myself and others, anyone that knows who he is, are going to remember him as a San Antonio Spur and one of the staples and really solidifying sort of a dynasty in San Antonio, because he's part of that dynasty. I don't believe that Tim Duncan gets all of those rings without Tony Parker. And you have to remember, he was the youngest player on that team. He was the one that Greg Popovich really put a lot of trust in, a lot of faith in, to really move the organization forward, because he was a point guard. And as the point guard, you're the one managing the team. You're the one in direct communication with the coach. And for such a young player, for them to draft such a young player at such an early age, and Greg Popovich to trust him, and for him to mature into the player that he ended up being, winning those 4 championships and becoming a Finals MVP, he had a great career. And I think that's one of the reasons he's getting his jersey retired. I know a lot of San Antonio Spurs fans are definitely going to be in agreement with that. Skip Bayless, we all know he's a huge San Antonio Spurs fan. He's a huge Spurs fan, so he's going to agree with that as well. But I think it's a really good gesture. It's something that we all knew was going to happen. So he was definitely going to get his jersey retired. So I think it's a really cool thing that the Spurs are going to be retiring Tony Parker's jersey this upcoming season. It's going to be amazing. I'm definitely going to watch it and see the highlights if I don't watch it live, just to get my take on it. Now, what I want to know from you guys is that, do you agree that the Spurs, it's a no-brainer for them to retire his jersey, or do you think that a lot of the success that Tony Parker had a lot to do with Manu Ginobili and Tim Duncan, or do you think he has as much of a role in that whole Spurs dynasty, and he is well-deserving of having his jersey retired? That's what I want to know from you guys, because it's funny because when we talk about some of the greatest point guards in the history of the NBA, we don't really mention Tony Parker, which is really interesting. More people talk about Westbrook and other players, or even Chris Paul, in a more glowing light than they do talk about Tony Parker. And Tony Parker's won more than both of those players combined, which is the pure reality of it. He's a winner. He's made multiple All-Star teams, and he's done really well. He's done really good in FIBA competition internationally. So there's no reason that Tony Parker shouldn't be getting what he's getting this year. But I want to know from you guys: do you agree with the Spurs doing this now, or do you think that he just rode the coattails of Tim Duncan and Manu Ginobili? That's what I want to know from you guys. So please let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I want to get into a conversation with you guys. Let me know what you think about it. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. And I'll catch you guys on the next episode. Peace.